settlers came from Connecticut down to Ohio. They traveled in covered wagons, and it usually took them 6 weeks.
Before the settlers could build log cabins, they had to survey their land. They used these little links, which are linked together, to survey the land because it was easy and portable.
All log cabins were made out of wood. They usually had one room and one door. This one has a latch string, and this would help the settlers to open and close their doors.
When settlers first moved to Ohio, they were very poor, so they couldn't buy glass windows. They had to get paper, but since it was so thick, they had to put grease or animal fat on it so they could see through, so sunshine could come through the paper.
This is a light jam. The pioneers used it to make light because it was very dark in their houses. And there's a very pointy edge on the bottom, so they can stick it into the wall. That's why it's called the jam light. Nowadays, you can get a cup of coffee at a restaurant or buy it from the store already ground up. But back then, it wasn't always the same. You'd have to take your coffee, put it in the grinder, and grind it up yourself. It's not that easy. And then, when you were done grinding the coffee, it would go into a little drawer, and there would be your coffee grounds. Same thing with the corn. You'd have to grind up your corn. So making dinner and lunch and making cups of coffee wasn't that easy back then. The pioneers used this machine to make clothing, blankets, and rugs. This is how pioneer women would iron their clothes. First, they would put the iron into the fire so it would be hot. Next, they would wrap a cloth around the iron so that they wouldn't get burned. Most of these irons weigh up to 6 pounds, so they're really heavy, and your arm would hurt really bad at the end of the day. Next, you just swipe the iron against your clothes, just like a normal iron. And this is how you would iron your clothes. This is how pioneer women washed their clothes.
Back in the old days, they didn't have pens, so they had to use feathers that would hold the ink. They used it from the inkwell. They would write on paper, but since paper was so expensive, most pioneers didn't have them. Then they would usually use chalk and a slate.
Now you're probably wondering what pioneer women used to cook on. Well, this is what they would use. A huge piece of soapstone. They would take it, put it in the fire, get it nice and hot, and then they would cook on it.
Back in the old days, people used these to warm their feet up after either a long day in the snow or hiking or anything like that. And you would open this up, and in here is a little box. They would put hot ashes in the box. They would put the box in here, close the door, and then they would rest the feet on top of it, and the heat would come out and warm their feet. Pioneer men used to put wheels together as a job because it would pay, and it was pretty simple. You would put them in this wheel and put a metal band around.
Most pioneer children didn't have a lot of toys, but they did have a few. They had the ball and cup, and they had a Jacob's ladder. These are some of the things that would make it so that pioneer children were